The New York Knicks, they've been trying to get healthier over the past month or so, and the team suffered another injury blow on Sunday night in Cleveland as they battled the Cavaliers. Let's talk some Knicks hoops, and we're going to do it with one of the best voices in New York sports talk radio. You hear him on ESPN 98.7 FM. My guy, Tyriq Butler, joins me now. Tyriq, how you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Good to talk to you tonight. What's up, bro?
Good, man. I'm doing good. Knicks fans, they might be a little bit on tilt right now, but we're going to get into all of that. And Ty, the big news from this game is Jalen Brunson going down with a left knee injury just 47 seconds into the game. The Knicks eventually ruled the point guard out of the contest with a sore knee, and his status going forward is up in the air, although they're saying that it is a knee contusion. What was your initial reaction to seeing the All-Star go down, and how concerning is Brunson missing any time with the Knicks as banged up as they currently are?
So I'm watching him go up, and it appeared to be a non-contact injury, and he starts to feel it like in the air going up for a shot, and he could not get up. He couldn't walk to the locker room on his own, and I immediately started to think, where have I seen this before? A team in New York with enhanced level of expectations. The fan base is into it. The media reaction seems to be a positive one, but now all of a sudden being crippled and brutalized by injuries. Oh, yeah, that was the Jets season, and to some degree the Giants season. And preceded by that, we saw that happen with the Yankees and the Mets, so it felt like we were in familiar territory again. You've already got OG out, you've got Randall out, and now Jalen Brunson, your best player, your leader, going to the ground in that fashion. You just thought worst case scenario. This guy is done, season's over, no reason to watch. Let's check it. Let's check things out next season. But the Knicks were able to find a way to, overcome that, digging deep, getting into that heart and soul of the Knicks brand of basketball, which is we're going to punch you in the mouth, we're going to beat you up on the boards, we're going to hit three-pointers, and then take your chances against that. But I'm very concerned about Jalen Brunson because I know the X-ray says, it's negative, it's a knee contusion, but you got to keep an eye out for what the MRI is going to reveal as far as the severity of this injury.
Absolutely. The MRI is really what matters the most here, and we'll know more about that coming forward, hopefully tomorrow and in the coming days. But you mentioned the Knicks getting this win. The Knicks came into Sunday's matchup having lost 7 out of their last 9 games, but they did pick up their 16th road win of the season as they defeated the Cavs. And the Cavs, coming into this game, they had won 21 out of their last 25 games, Ty. What impressed you the most about the Knicks' ability to get this victory without Jalen Brunson?
Well, we're seeing the dividends be paid of the work that Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau have done. I mean, we overuse the word culture, but it's so appropriate to use as far as what this Knicks team has accomplished. Because, I always tell people, like, the fact that they're having this amount of success, what impresses me the most is if you go back the last decade of lottery picks, they've missed on every one of them except maybe Kristaps Porzingis, and he's not even playing here anymore. So to be in a position where you're able to be down 4 of your starters in a season that all of a sudden is taking on a different tone where people are talking about getting to the conference finals and maybe getting to a championship, to experience all of that and to go to Cleveland where, yes, they're without Donovan Mitchell. Caris LeVert didn't play in this game as well, but they're the 2 seed. It's on their home floor, and you found a way without 4 starters, losing one of them, your best player in this game, and finding a way to win. All respect goes to Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, the culture they've provided with this Knicks organization. And, man, Josh Hart, another triple-double. He was extraordinary. Jericho Sims comes into the game. He's making impactful plays. Donte DiVincenzo, he continues to light it up and look like one of the best three-point shooters in the league. And all of a sudden you get a bogey appearance where he's hitting big shots. So, Miles McBride contributes with his 47 minutes. It's just a collective effort. At some point, man, and we saw this with the Yankee season, that next man up philosophy runs its course because there's no next man up. It's hard to replace 4 starters, but getting a win like this, it was a gutsy one and really big one for this Knicks team going forward because they were only a game ahead of the 7th seed. So these games are critical. Very critical.
Gutsy win indeed for the Knicks, and you mentioned a player who was big in this game, and that was Josh Hart. He had his 3rd triple-double of the season, and he did it with 19 rebounds in 47 minutes. How important is what we've seen, Ty, as his inspirational play when it comes to this Knicks team holding it together while they try to get healthy?
Honestly, I felt like I was watching game one of the first round of the playoffs last year in Cleveland, where Josh Hart once again hit a dagger. And this time it was from the corner. Last year was from the top of the key. This dude is just, I mean, you run out of words that you use to describe just how impactful he is. Because you mentioned the triple-double, 13 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists. He's making his presence felt all over the floor. And he's doing it on both ends, which, is a testament to the coaching, but also he gives you that type of grit that in a game like this, where you lose your best player, a guy who you trust, the most in crunch time, he's able to hit a big shot like that. So Josh Hart, one of the most important pieces on this team, continuing to show his brilliance. And all year long, he's been dealing with that bad knee. So credit to him for having that physical toughness, that mental toughness, and the leadership he brings holding this team together.
No doubt, holding things together. He was big on Sunday night. Indeed, another player that you mentioned that was huge, Deuce McBride. He never came out of this game after he came in for Brunson. He played 47 minutes, scored 16 points, dished out 5 assists, knocked down 4 3-pointers. Alec Burks only played 11 minutes in this game, and he struggled with his shot. Should Deuce get more rotation minutes going forward, even if or when Brunson returns?
So I'll say this. I was very hesitant after the departures of RJ and Emmanuel quickly to just assume Miles McBride was going to be able to come in and have that role as the second guard, the backup point guard. But I will say the combination of what we've seen from him this season and, juxtapose that with the lack of production from Alec Burks, yeah, why not? Why not continue to give him a shot? Because you're looking for really 3 things. A guy who can create his own shot, which we've seen him be able to do. 3 of his last 5 games, he scored in double figures. A guy who can consistently hit threes because, when Julius and Jalen Brunson and OG are all out there, they're going to suck the defense in, and he's going to get an opportunity to hit open threes. He's shooting 40% from downtown. And don't be a mess defensively, right? Like this, don't be horrendous on the defensive end. And he's shown that while he's not an elite defender, he's going to battle. He's going to give you that toughness, fight over screens, and be as impactful as a guy of his magnitude would be. So I think he's absolutely someone who has earned and deserves the opportunity to, when Jalen Brunson does come back, play more minutes because he's been better than Alec Burks.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He shot the ball better, he's defended better, and he looked really good in the win against the Cavs in just being ready in an unexpected role, but he stepped up for sure. Now, the Knicks, they are expected to sign free agent point guard Shake Milton once he clears waivers after he was waived by the Pistons. What do you make of this move? And does it come at a time where the Knickerbockers' point guard depth could be tested?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, when they had this conversation come up about signing him, which is not official yet, you didn't expect Jalen Brunson was going to go down the first, minute into this game. So it's very fortunate that they're going to bring in someone who can add to their depth in the backcourt. But I consider this to be like a low risk, high reward type of move. Shake Milton has not had a good season at all, and it was like the tale of 2 tapes for him. He went from playing in Minnesota, a team with legitimate expectations, couldn't do anything for them. Then he goes to maybe the worst team in the league, the Detroit Pistons. Detroit Pistons couldn't do anything for them as well. So the Knicks are getting a guy who, I mean, in his career has shown flashes. You go back to that 2019-20 season with the Sixers, hit at a 43% clip from beyond the arc. Then the next season he averaged 13. So if you can get anything close to that, not 13 points a game, but if you can get some production that is close to that and the allotted time that he's on the floor, then it's a high reward because you desperately need that depth, especially in your backcourt. But if you don't get anything from him, you didn't really waste much because, he was sitting out there ready to be had. So this could be a low-risk, high-reward type of move for the Knicks.
All right, Ty, last thing for me. Knicks, they have a 4-game homestand starting on Tuesday against the Hawks, and we're going to wait to see what further news comes out about Jalen Brunson's left knee contusion. X-rays negative, as we said before, but still waiting on that MRI. But with all of that, should Knicks fans feel like the sky's falling? Because, some of them will feel that way with all of these injuries that have been happening to the team. Or Is there reason to be optimistic that things can turn around following this big win over the Cavs? What do you say?
All of that is going to rest on the prospect of getting Jalen Brunson back healthy, because it's impossible to envision that they're going to have success without Randall. But obviously, that takes a nosedive if you don't get Brunson back 100%, because you've already got OG on the way back, you've got Randall on the way back, and Jalen. So I'm concerned that three of your most important players, no, maybe your three most important players, we're now asking them to return from injury, be great, and go through the likes of Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, whoever you end up playing in that first round. So I feel for the Knicks fan, because it's just been such an emotional roller coaster of the season. You go back to the start of the year, yes, they had a good record, but they struggled against those superior teams. They were beating up on all the doors, the cellar dwellers, but they did not find a way to crack the code against the elite teams. But then came wins on Christmas Day to the Bucks. They beat the Timberwolves, they beat the Nuggets, they beat the Clippers, and all of it. You beat the Suns in Phoenix, and all of a sudden you started to feel really encouraged, because the noise grew so loud about this team shocking the world. You started to legitimately feel like, man, could we get to a conference finals? And if we get there, does Boston want the smoke with us? So you go from feeling that just a month ago to now Randall, Brunson, and OG all out. So it's tough. It is obviously a less than ideal situation to be in, but you're just resting on the fact that maybe you can get those guys back, because you feel like if your group is healthy, you're going to go to war with anyone. With that coach, with the leadership in that locker room, the toughness and the camaraderie, the culture that they've created over there, you feel like you could go to war with anyone, even though Boston just destroyed Golden State today by 50 points. But yeah, if the Knicks are healthy, man, you got to stay encouraged if you're a fan of this team.
All right, got to stay encouraged. Some fans will feel like the sky's falling. You make a great point, Ty. It was all good about 2 months ago, and then things changed quickly in February with all of the injuries. But we'll see how things play out for the Knicks. Big win over the Cavs on Sunday. Still awaiting word on Jalen Brunson's injury, an update on that, although X-ray says that it is a left knee contusion. We'll see. That is Tyriq Butler. Check him out on ESPN Radio 98.7 FM, doing his thing. Ty, always good to talk some sports with you. Always good to talk some Knicks basketball. We'll do it again soon.
Yes, we will, man. And hopefully the next time we do it, it's on a brighter note. We're not talking about injuries. We're talking about a team that's doing well and making its way to the playoffs, hopefully for a deep playoff run. But great to be on with you, bro.
Always, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.